Today is Wednesday, April 5th, 2022, and I'm going to take a walk around my garden and talk about what I've done and what I'm planning to do. First, I'm going to introduce you to this year's Agatha. There's always a spider named Agatha in my garden. This one's living in my greenhouse. You can see she is quite the hunter. You see all those little bugs in her web there? So, we are friends, sort of. Not close enough friends that I've decided to move all of the obviously failed little veggies down here from when we froze, but enough that I'm letting her survive and thrive. So, we're going to start just by looking at all of these little cups. All of these are different flowers that survived when we had the ceiling cave in on the greenhouse. So they're just all different kinds. Not very many, but you know, it is what it is. Once it gets warm enough, I'm going to go ahead and direct seed a whole bunch of different ones, even some of the ones that could have been started indoors. And hopefully we'll end up with lots of flowers this year. Now down here, this is my cilantro. 2 pots of it. You can see that's come quite a bit since last time I did a video. And down here, I've got a couple of pumpkins coming up. One's going to have to be moved because you can't have 2 pumpkins this close together, I don't think. And then down here, I've got a place where I had planted some sugar baby watermelons, and it looks like one is just starting to peek out right there. And moving over here, we've got different herbs. Nothing going on with the rosemary yet, but the dill is coming along. Parsley's looking good. Lime basil. A little oregano. This is supposed to be thyme, but those look more like basil to me. As time will tell. Yeah, that one is thyme right there. Got some more flowers. We are about 2 weeks ahead of our final freeze date. So these will be going out in a couple of weeks. There's just some general flowers, kind of scattered a couple different kinds in there just to make little flower plugs, so to speak. My lavender is coming up. This is supposed to be stevia. The only thing in here that really looks like stevia to me is that one. It's got the fuzzy leaves. I don't know what that is. That looks like a red vein sorrel that came back after last year. We've got some Malabar spinach coming up. I'm not sure what these are. I tried looking it up on PlantSnap and it was telling me that it was stevia, but I'm pretty sure it's not. I think it's probably more likely to be like a cone flower or something like that. Maybe a black-eyed Susan. Tulsi and lime basil needs to be watered. Still don't have anything going on back there. And got some more flowers coming up down there. Now here I've got, what is that? I think it's a Fond du Blanc melon. I've got a couple of them coming up. This one's been there a long time and hasn't done anything really, but there's a few more coming up, so hopefully that'll work. That would be a last year's cherry. When I say that, I'm talking about cherub. Those are cherubs that just came from grocery store tomatoes. And here's Ollie, wanting to know why I'm talking to a camera when I could be talking to him. Hello, buddy. He's a good boy. This was gray zucchini, but it's kind of where I stuck the nasturtiums that got knocked all over the place. They were easy to pick out of the soil because they're so big. Back here, it's supposed to be Paul Robeson over here. Cherubs over there. I'm not sure what that is, but I think it might be alyssum. I've had a lot of alyssum. And then there's a random tomato coming up right there. Look out, buddy. You can hear me sniffing. My allergies are starting to go nuts. These are bumblebees, so I got a couple of bumblebees right there. I'll need to take those out and spread them around, but I'm going to wait till after the last frost. This is patty pan squash. Several coming up. This is tarragon. Now these are black beauty, zucchini. I've already taken one out and moved it outside because I didn't want to lose any, and 3 is just too many to have at this stage. So it's outside, but I will cover it when it freezes. Down here, what is that? No garlic chives. Looks like a sage is just starting to come up right there. Nice. This is more parsley. Not as advanced as the other one, but got quite a few coming up. This is sugar baby melons. Delicious tomatoes. Got 3, 4. So those will get spread around after the last freeze. That's oregano from last year. Now this little pot is rosemary, and there's nothing growing in it, but you see that tiny little white line there? That is a writing spider web. So there's another spider in here somewhere. It doesn't get to be Agatha. There can only be one Agatha. But writing spiders are amazing garden predators. They get rid of all kinds of big bugs because they get so big themselves. Alright, sweet basil. There's another sage coming up right there. This is 8-ball zucchini. I got 1, 2, 3. And these are lilacs. I haven't had time to plant them yet, but I didn't want them to just sit in their bags, so I put them in a bucket so they can stretch out their little roots. Ollie, what you doing? What is that? What is that? And then this is Costa Romanesca zucchini. Quite a few of those coming up, plus a couple there. Luckily I like those. And down here, this is yellow pear tomato. Oops. And that is a bumblebee. Alright, so that's everything that's going on in the greenhouse. This will be coming down in a few weeks as we get to the end of the season. Alright, swing around. We're just going to start at this side and walk around. So this is my summer compost pile / sweet potato bed. So back here under the leaves, as those are breaking down and I'm mixing in grass clippings during the year, that will turn into next year's compost. In the meantime, I pulled forward what was left from last year down here, and it's planted with sweet potatoes. So later in the summer, it should grow up and over that and cover that eyesore back there. I've also planted some garlic down in here. I had 3 cloves of garlic that sprouted in the fridge, and so I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and give them a chance to live. So you can see there's one right there. I'm just going to show you. These were planted on, let's see, I've got a tag here somewhere, the 3rd, so 3 days ago. And look how much the roots have grown just in that 3 days. So let's tuck him back in. I don't know how well that's going to work because April is awfully late to be planting garlic, but it was either that or throw it away or just compost it. If it doesn't work, it'll just turn into compost anyways, so no harm, no foul. Now on either side of this bed, I've got just some tubs, some soil, some leaf mold, just a few assorted things. Now in my last video I had big tubs around this, and those have been moved now. It's just being held up with chicken wire, and I've got some leaves shoved in there to control the erosion when it rains. Now over here I've got a lot of open cinder block pieces that you know, one side is filled with concrete to support my fence and the other side's empty. Can't really plant right in the cinder blocks because they wick the moisture too much, so I've made little pots that are going to fit in there, and the roots can come out into the soil under and around them, but they've got something to hold in some of that moisture with the plastic pot. So we've got black-seeded Simpson lettuce, dinosaur kale, that is Marvel of Four Seasons, that's more Marvel of Four Seasons right there. What is this one? That is Rue de Hiver, which I've looked it up. That means winter red lettuce. So more Rue de Hiver. We've got some Ragged Jack kale, purple mustard, Ragged Jack kale, purple mustard, dinosaur kale. So once I get the fence expanded, I will put those in the cinder blocks. So this is just my work table. Got it cleaned off and just got some random things up there that are part of what I'm working on. Now this this palette later in the summer will be covered with Virginia creeper. That'll be nice and pretty. Under here I've just got some really nasty compost, trying to keep the raccoons out of it. So here are the herb buckets that were outside. I've got catnip, I've got lemon balm, I've got peppermint. Now last video you saw a bucket that had hyssop in it. It had 5 hyssop plants, and I've gone ahead and taken that out and spread it around the property. So I've got some by the front porch, some by the back porch. It'll be beautiful when it flowers. Now this is layers of leaves, compost, and wood chips. And that is going to be my brassica bed. So I will put brassicas in milk jugs and then bury them in there to keep the roots cool. And they'll be able to get plenty of water. As the season goes on, the sun will shift so that this is not completely shaded like it is right now, but it'll get shade during the hottest part of the day. So there's my pile of new wood chips, sitting right up against my pile of old wood chips. Now when I was at Walmart the other day, they had onion sets, or onion starts. I'm not sure what the difference is. I'm not sure what these are, but they are Walla Walla onions. And just like the garlic, I planted these a day after the garlic, and you can see that they have just taken right off. Now let's get him back in there. Alright. So I've never grown onions before. We'll have to see how that goes. I'm excited about it though, because we do love onions. Okay, down here is Ragged Jack kale. I've taken a lot of it out and moved it around, so the ones that are in here are starting to get a little bit of size on them now. Once they're a little bigger, I can take the tool off so that it can stretch upwards. This is where I had put lettuce. My tennis ball didn't really take off. There's only one in that area, and it looks more like the Marvel of Four Seasons than it does a tennis ball. I've got the Rouge d'Hiver, the winter red over here. Black-seeded Simpson. So these will start getting moved around soon so that they can start growing and give me some good-sized heads of lettuce. And what's left I'll spread out a little bit more in here, so I've got to cut and come again bed. Down here I have planted chives, and they are not coming up yet. Might be too late, too warm. I don't know. I've never done chives that succeeded before, so we'll just have to see. But I've got garlic on one side of that dividing line and onion on the other. In here, I've got dill and sweet basil interplanted, since basil will be lower and the dill gets really tall. I'm hoping that they will play nicely together in here. No germination yet. It's been about 10 days, but we have had some chilly days and nights, so hopefully they'll germinate soon. Oh, actually, look, look, look. Something's coming up right there. All right. I can't tell what that is. I think it looks more like oregano than dill. Oh, look, a few more over here. Nice. All right. So this is pink zinnias that I collected the seeds from last year. No germination here yet. Oh, one germination. Right there. So that's good. It's going to be warm for the next day or so, and then it's going to get chilly again. Then we're going to have one night that it's supposed to freeze, so I need to make sure I come out and cover all of this tender stuff. Down here I've got my mints, I've got my orange mint, chocolate mint, and my spearmint, which has just taken off since I moved it out here. Over here I've got blue curled Scotch kale, which needs to be spread around a bit. Got my third batch of radishes. Alright, here's my purple mustard. And I've planted some purple mustard down here. Since it is an ornamental, it'll be going around the gazebo out front. So I pulled these out so that they could start getting a little bit bigger. And then over here is my dino kale. Looking pretty nice. Spinach. No luck at all with spinach. I've planted it twice. You will not defeat me, spinach. I will try again. So this is my first round of radishes. They've probably got another week and a half before they'll be ready to eat. These are China Rose, and they're starting to get their true leaves, and that's when the roots start to bulb up a bit. Over here I've got leeks, lots of them coming up, just little green threads sticking out. I will pull those out and plant them in, I've got 5-quart buckets, and I can plant about 7 or 8 of them in a bucket and then just mound the soil up as they grow higher. That way they're nice and white and have less of the green, more of that nice white root that we like. This is mosh. I've never grown it before. It's supposed to be a really good winter green. Once it gets a little bigger, we'll start putting it in salads and see what we think. Okay. So, I'm going to just walk along here. Down here, I've got all of my brassicas, my purple sprouting broccoli, Brussels sprouts, what else is down here? Cauliflower, cabbage, things like that. Move them outside. They can handle the frost. I thought it was time to get them out, and I put them out yesterday, and I swear some of them have just doubled in size since they hit that sun. Now down in here, I've got a few tomatoes started out here that haven't germinated yet, and I've got a couple of cabbages. My Savoy cabbages, I only had a few germinate, so I'm trying to baby them. That's what they're doing in these blue buckets all by themselves. Now this bucket of sticks down there, I don't know what those are. They came up in my perennial nursery from last year, and I broke them off before I realized that they were something. So I pulled them out by the roots and stuck them in some soil, and we'll see what they do. I'm hoping whatever they are, they survive. Now, last time when we looked at this, these were a lot redder, and I said I thought they were some kind of oregano or herb. Well, I did a lot of research and a lot of checking back and forth with pictures, and I am pretty sure that what I have here is a whole bunch of scarlet bee balm, which is exciting because it is so pretty with its fluffy little red flowers, and it brings in the pollinators, butterflies like crazy. Hummingbirds love it. Last year I had the seeds from one that I had grown the year before, and I tried to germinate them. I had stratified them and then tried to germinate them, and they never germinated. But I guess I didn't adequately stratify them because they popped up in my compost pile, and then in places that I had used that compost because I had just thrown the soil back into the tub. So I guess they stratified this winter and came up. I'm excited. I hope I'm right. I really do. This is the soil that I dumped out of all the failed flowers, giving it a little time to germinate, a little more where it's right in the direct sun. See if anything sprouts. If not, then I will just plant something else in this bucket. I'm not sure what yet. So in the strawberry tower, I've got some various lettuce and things. Iceberg lettuce, no germination yet. Curly endive is germinating. What is down there? Some kind of kale. Oh, Premier kale is coming up down in the bottom. And then there is one more tier. No, I guess that's it. So that is on a rolling plant stand, so I can move it around as I need to. So this is my asparagus and strawberry bed. See, my strawberries are still chugging along. I didn't kill them when I tried to transplant them. Got some things coming up in here. I grew a lot of different things in this bed last year, so I'm going to have to treat them all as weeds, I think. Strawberries. My little piggy. And with this tub, this is my second round of radishes. These are Purple Globe. These, I'm not sure still what they are. They could be either a garlic chive, could be a walking onion, could be bunching onions. I had all of that in my garden last year, so I'm not sure. We'll just have to wait and see. Down here, I've planted some parsley in this little bed. No germination yet. So this tub, that tub, and that tub have all got 6 broccoli rabe in them. It was really slow to germinate, even though I used new seed. And even now that it's germinating, it's growing really, really slow. And I've had roly-polies take a couple of them out, so I'm hoping that we end up with it. I just don't know for sure. There is my fountain. Got it set up. Gonna have some fish in there soon. So I've got thyme in the bed in between there, sage down here, lime basil down around here, and you can see that asparagus are starting to come up. Got some little bitty asparagus. Now down here I've just moved some of the brassicas, spread them around a little bit, and then against the fence are my peas, sugar snap peas. So they're getting to the point where they're just getting ready to start twining. And there is my greenhouse. All right, I think that's about all I have for this time. I'll try to get it done a little quicker this time, not wait until 10 days have passed, because things happen so quickly this time of year, don't they, Sam? Yeah, you bet, dude. All right, end of garden tour. 3, 2, 1.